And then, of course, we went into the triple threat match after all those promos.
Which saw the almighty Bobby Lashley facing off against former Mr. Money in the Bank, Austin Theory, facing off against Seth Freakin Rollins in a triple threat match for the United States Championship that has essentially become the top title in Raw.
Well, it's the only major title in Raw now.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. So triple threat, no count out, no DQs, just pinfall or submission. I didn't mind this match at all. Normally when Manson's on and we talk about triple threats, we're generally not great fans of triple threats because, you've always got to have one out of the way or whatever. But the one thing in this particular match, when at the very start, when Lashley took Theory out twice virtually in a row over the top rope, I thought, okay, well, that's their way of getting rid of one. Here we go again.
Yeah.
And then him and Rollins sort of got into it, and then Rollins made a comeback. But Theory sort of got back involved, and sort of pretty much from there on, it was the three of them. I think the chemistry worked well. I think the match flowed well. I thought some of my notes was timing good by all three, particularly for the hot spots.
Yeah.
In the Women's Royal Rumble, like when Io Sky was going to do that big flip from the top of the cage, you saw Bianca and I can't remember who the other one was. Might have been Maya Kim or Ying or whatever the name is. But they stood there and waited, for it because it was obviously set. Whereas in this match, there wasn't any of that. The timing was really, really crisp.
Yeah.
And, when they did any of those, big moves like that, the timing was good. I was looking for the timing. And actually, I thought all three of them did really, really, really well. Particularly when you got, and they all got their moves in, the hurt lock, the sleeper, the pedigree. What you get? Lashley putting the hurt lock on both of them. One boy. There's lots of nice sort of things to like in the match. I thought the finish was very, very good, actually.
Yeah, the way that it led to.
Well, no one got buried. Rollins tried the Falcon Arrow on Theory. Lashley spares him, but so the Theory virtually falls on top of him.
Yeah.
On top of Rollins and the 1, 2, 3 in there. He's a two-time US champion and obviously the youngest two-time champion, I'd imagine, as well. But I didn't mind that finish at all. I thought it didn't bury anyone. He won, but he sort of accidentally won, or I think, as they said in the commentary, fell into the pin.
Yeah.
It was all right. I didn't really have too much at all on that I didn't particularly like. But what did you think yourself all up?
Well, this was only recently announced, this match. Like, I think last week's Raw they announced it.
Sorry, say that again?
I think last week's Raw they announced it as a late addition.
The match?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, sometimes the less time you got to think about something, the better.
Yeah.
That's generally the rule of thumb in life. The more you think about something, probably, the more you can stuff it up. Just out of curiosity, who was the producer for this match?
Adam Pearce.
Very good job. Excellent job. And just because it's just one of those things I'm interested in. The first match, the Women's Rumble, WarGames match, the producer?
There was two.
Yes.
Tyson Kidd and Petey Williams.
Who was the second person?
Petey Williams.
Oh, Petey Williams. Well, they did very, very well on that. And the AJ one?
Jason Jordan.
Oh, okay. Well, he did better there than he did on the next one he did. Okay, but that's cool. Okay, sorry. I digress a bit. But your thoughts here on this 3-way?
Well, I didn't know how this was really going to go. There's a few matches that I sat there and I went, how's this going to go?
Yes.
And that's what I like, is like,
yes.
It keeps me guessing. It's not obvious, like, oh, this is going to happen at this point and all that. I honestly think that. See, I don't know what this means now. Like, does that mean that Rollins is going to continue to chase the title, or
Um, I'm wondering, and again, I'm just speculating, but it's imminent that Cody's coming back. But surely they're not going to go Rollins and Rhodes again. I mean, Rhodes beat him 3 times, so is there anything else you can do there?
well, there's talk about them possibly splitting the titles again, the main title. There's been rumblings throughout the last couple of months that there's potential of that happening.
And what, you end up having Rollins and Cody going for one of them again?
Probably the WWE title and have it happen at Mania in Circle.
Maybe.
And because the whole thing with Cody was he was coming back for the belt.
Yes.
So if you have let's say like the Rock and Reigns match does happen.
Yeah.
But it's only for the Universal belt.
Yeah, they're going to need to be really smart how they do this, how all of a sudden you've got both, but say there's a match but just for one of them. I mean, yeah, I don't know how you do that.
Well, the way I'd do it is I'd have Reigns drop it to Rollins around Rumble time, have Cody come back during the Rumble, win the Rumble, and then set it from there.
But that means Reigns will be wrestling, but only defending one of the belts. But he's basically he's got the 2. So how do you determine one belt only gets? See, because they look like they're building something with Owens and Reigns again too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I really don't. I mean, I'm sure they've basically roughed out the Mania card.
Yeah.
And they know who's coming back and who's not, and all the rest of it. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. Because then what does who starts challenging Theory for the US belt? I mean, you can't have Lashley going for another 5 months before Mania. But there is very much a lot of talk that Lashley's very keen to recreate the Hurt Business again.
Is that worth doing? Has that run its course?
They seem to have little factions everywhere now. Like it's almost a federation full of bloody factions. Judgment Day and the OC and the Damage Control and whatever. So, hard to know, Anthony. I mean, they've got so many options they could go to. Like they've got so much talent. The booking's better. They're a lot more creative. They're a lot more open. So, I mean, anything could happen. But, don't know. I mean, Theory will probably hold the US title to Mania. Who he defends it against, who knows by that time. I think what you're going to find is in that NXT pay-per-view in a couple of weeks, Braun Breaker's defending it against, what's his name?
Apollo Crews.
Yes, I think you'll find Apollo will win that and Breaker will come up to the main roster. So maybe it's Breaker and A-Town down, Theory. So you never know. I mean, there's so much in the mixing pot. But then I don't know what you sort of really do with Lashley. Does he just give up on that now? But then what does he chase? There's nothing to chase.
They could always go to third match with Lesnar.
Actually, I'm wondering whether they might even go Bobby Lashley and the Ring General.
Maybe, or I did read something that there's talk of possibly Brock Lesnar and the Ring General.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'd rather see that.
What, Lesnar and Gunther?
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh, that'd be a great match.
I think that'd be close to, maybe not as great, but close to the Sheamus Gunther match.
Oh yeah.
I think they could, if they did that properly, and it was something that actually Lesnar wanted to do, because if he's motivated about something, he works better, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that could be very hot. But anyway, so yeah, there's a wee bit out of this match. Actually, there's probably many ramifications in terms of feuds and who's going to go where and who's going to step up to Theory. What happens with Rollins? What happens with Bobby?
Yeah, it's very interesting to see what happens.
Well, I think this one's probably got the most unknowns that come out of it, but probably the most possibilities from a booking point of view.
Yeah.
Because if we were sitting there booking Mania and you've got these three, and they're all hot, like, so you think, okay, well, what are we going to do with all of them? What do I do now with Rollins? Do I go down this path with him? Do I go down that path? What am I going to do with Lashley? Theory's just won the belt, so he's young. Do you sort of have a whole fresh queue of people for him, culminating in him versus, whoever for Mania? There's a lot of possibilities. Probably the most would come out of this match than any of the matches tonight.
Yeah, it's true. It was interesting to see that they gave it back to Fury.
Yeah, look, I think there might be a wee bit of politics in that. I think, he cashed in his money in the bank and, basically just threw that opportunity away. It looked like they were going to bury him. He wasn't on TV for a few weeks. And everyone was sort of saying, well, now that Triple H has taken over, he's probably cooked his goose. And I don't know whether it's putting the belt back on him, and it might only be interim. Maybe waiting for Cody or something to come back and get that one or something. I don't know, but I think they've probably got bigger fish for Cody to fry. But maybe it was just to silence everyone and say, no, look, we haven't really buried him. Although I do like the new persona, the really angry. Yeah. I mean, I think the kid's got a great future. I really do. And I've been saying that from the start. I still see him as potentially being another sort of Miz or Cena type, for longevity and be there for a while and climb the ladder with them and whatnot. I think the potential is massive. So it'll be interesting how they manage him, how they work it.
Yeah,
what did you give the match?
7.
I gave another 8.
Wow.
Yeah, I must tell you, I haven't scored a pay-per-view like I've scored this one for years. I was actually quite suitably impressed. I was sitting there eating my Subway, having a coffee, watching it, taking my notes. I thought, actually, this is actually all right. This is good.
Yeah, like it was definitely there's definitely been a huge improvement.
Oh God, yeah, miles apart. Seriously, it's huge, absolutely. I mean, the matches were good, and then of course we come into this main event, and again I wasn't sure what to expect, but I sort of knew what was probably going to happen, and it was reasonably as I thought. But I'll let you introduce it first, of course.